Good morning, Eagles. In this month's What's Brewing teacher feature, we hope to give you some ideas on the different ways that you can be assessing your students. Kate Kiefer will discuss having her students demonstrate mastery through a multi-genre project that replaced a formal essay. Chris Blevins will discuss giving his students the option of filling out a blank sheet instead of the standard multiple choice test, and Lauren Olson talks about the benefits of having the assessment for each unit be 2 parts.
Okay, so for computer science principles, every unit that we cover, we have 2 assessments. We have a typical standard multiple choice assessment, maybe some free response questions, but we also have a project that accompanies that. And sometimes that's a research project, sometimes that's creating a game or an app, sometimes we had one that was more artistic, drawing things, but there's always 2, and they're equally weighted in the gradebook. So the kids have 2 different ways to show what they've learned in that unit. I think there's benefits on both sides. So some kids who are not strong test takers can feel successful in the project, and because they're weighted equally, somebody who might be a C test taker but is really creative or really likes to kind of take a project and do their own thing with it and does really well on those might average out to a B. Also, some kids who are really strong test takers but maybe struggle with more project-based things, I think it just creates a balance for both types of students. So I think having the projects as part of the assessment allows for differentiation in the classroom. So there's always a set of requirements, and there's always some kids that might struggle to meet those requirements or maybe not meet them entirely. But then there's other kids that really go above and beyond and put a whole lot of work into that and get a lot of enrichment because they're allowed to be as creative as they like or be as extensive as they like in their projects. And so I think it's really cool to see the varying levels of what people are capable of doing.
I had really low expectations. I was actually really worried that the students weren't going to take it seriously. Coming into a final and just having to work with a blank piece of paper, I had some anxiety, but that's why we made the rubric and tried to give them as much detail as possible. And the averages for the students that took the blank final were significantly higher than the averages for the people that took the multiple choice final. The biggest 2 reasons I wanted to give them it is, one was autonomy. There were a bunch of different units. They only had to cover 21 of the 26 subjects that we talked about in class. So they had more autonomy over maybe what they felt more comfortable that they had mastered. So it really gave them a lot of choice. And the second reason was sometimes just multiple choice. I feel like I'm not getting everything my students understand. Like I can't hit at all of their knowledge on a multiple choice test, no matter how much I try, no matter how hard the questions are. And so it's really nice to just give students an opportunity to just show you what they know. And it was an awesome experience.
So my students in my modern literature class read a novel called Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. And instead of having them do a traditional literary analysis paper, which they've probably done a ton of in their high school career, I decided to do something a little bit different, and I had them complete a multi-genre paper, which basically involved them choosing 5 different genres of writing to communicate just an overall kind of cohesive message. So the novel itself, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close, is actually written in a way that where the author uses different genres throughout the novel to communicate this message. So there are letters, for example, that are written from different characters to other characters. One of the narrators, who is a young boy and is dealing with the death of his father in the September 11th attacks, he includes, for example, voice messages from his father that were left prior to one of the towers collapsing. He includes different pictures that he's collected throughout this journey of kind of healing, I guess, that he experiences. So because the novel was written that way, I wanted the students to experiment a little bit with communicating a message through multiple genres, just like the author did.
Be sure to check out our instructional infusion in Newberry News for more information on assessments. If you're looking for additional guidance or ideas on how to address creating assessments for your class, feel free to drop by the tea room or reach out to Kate, Chris, or Lauren. Thanks for watching, Eagles. See you in the tea room.